Welcome everyone to Talented Universe. This, depending on where you are, I don't know how hot it is, but June 3rd, 2024. And I would like to quickly welcome my co-hosts tonight. My name is Michael Day. I have Karen Mull. Karen, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm great. Nice to be here with you guys. Thanks for having me on.
And we have Roger Noriega. Roger, how are you doing?
I'm doing real well. Terribly excited to be here and can't wait to get into it. And poor Evan has no idea how it's going to go, so I feel for him.
Yeah,
just kidding. Just kidding, Evan.
No, he's not kidding, but that doesn't matter. But Evan Rein, we are so glad that you are here with us tonight. I've been corresponding with your agent a couple times, and I was glad we could finally get it all arranged. But welcome. Now,
thank you. Thanks to be here, and I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. I mean, Roger, you really said that the anticipation high, so I'm ready. I'm ready to jump in.
Well, I'm glad you're ready. Some people do reconnaissance on us, and we were always scared when they do that.
Oh, okay. I'm glad
because we really are basically a free form thing. It's not really an interview. It's just we talk about anything, and what's nice is we have a live audience. So if we do have some people live, you may put comments in to the chat room wherever you are. We've already got some viewers, which is great. Now,
as a matter of fact, we have quite a few people on X already, and we do. Sorry, Michael. We do want to make clear that if you're on X, we're not able to read your comments. Technology hasn't gotten that far yet. So if you want to head on over to YouTube, head on over to Facebook, Twitch, you'll see some of the connections. Look up NDB Media. Can head on over there. We would love to see your comments. We actually have quite a few people watching us already. Please let us know who you are and where you hail from. We cannot read the comments on Twitter. We do apologize.
Yeah.
But
it's a shame, but yeah, it's like whatever. But anyway.
Oh, check it out, Michael. Already, man.
Oh, I know.
Already.
This is what's happened, so. Okay, Elizabeth asked, a little birdie told me you play the banjo. What type of music do you play? Bluegrass or something different?
Who is that little birdie? How do people find out?
Oh, listen. She finds out things, and I think I do research, and she always blows us away. I mean, one guest we had, she asked, do I know her? And I go, I don't think so. I know she listens to your music, but I don't think you know her.
Okay. So this is a viewer that you guys are familiar. Is this?
Yes, we are familiar with her. Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hi, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Olivia Cooper. Well, that's a great name. Yes, I do. What type of music do you play? Bluegrass or something different? I'm looking at my banjo right now. I'm not gonna play it, but
you don't have to.
I do play. I'd say I gravitate mostly towards, I guess, bluegrass type banjo. I do a lot of claw hammer style banjo. Which is it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like there's no picks involved. You just use your hand. It's a certain specific strumming pattern. So I love that. I love the claw hammer style. I've got a book of kind of like old timey bluegrass songs that are all tabbed out on the banjo that I love to just pick up and play along to.
What artists? What bluegrass artists or bands do you like? I'm a bit of a bluegrass fan myself, more than newgrass. Wow. I'm not so much jamgrass. I'm more like a newgrass kind of a fan.
Okay. Well, I guess I couldn't call myself a real fan because I have an answer for you. A lot of these songs are like Oh Susanna, you know what I mean? Like old timey, songs that are like almost written for the banjo,
The classics.
Classics. So I can't tell you. I don't know who wrote Oh Susanna, but like a lot of old style, music like that.
That stuff is great. It's still around for a reason because it's fantastic.
It's really fun to play. Yeah, and it's like I wish I were a better musician. because I've played with some really good musicians who have these songs just memorized in their memory banks and can just like pull them out like that and know, both parts. They know them off, it's completely memorized. I'm not that kind of player. I'm more of just like the bedroom, just on a quiet Tuesday night, just playing for myself. But it's cool. One day I'd like to be like that.
That's great.
Now to get it off so you're not freaked out totally. Let's talk a little bit about your latest endeavor, being a police officer on Under the Bridge.
Yeah.
Now,
wow.
How did it stumble on you, or had you seen the call for auditions, or kind of how did your agent tell you about it, or can you not say?
No, I can totally talk about it. Yeah,
Okay.
It came about like any other audition. So yeah, I have an agent here in Vancouver who will submit me for different projects. This one I was lucky enough to get an audition for, a self-tape audition. That's kind of what we find ourselves in this post-COVID era, is all the auditions are done at home, and this one was just like that. So it was just an audition I did at home, and it's it often feels like with these auditions, like it can really feel like sending your tape into the void, because you don't often hear back. The only response that you do get back is when you book, and this one was one that I was lucky enough to get offered a role on. And so that's it. Came about like any other audition.
That's just how I feel when I send a resume to human resources. Send it out into the void, and maybe you'll hear something, and maybe you won't.
Yeah. I guess it's like, it's not unlike a lot of other industries. There is a lot of just sending it out with a hope and a prayer, and just hope it comes back, but and doing your best. But this one is surprised and lucky enough to get to hear something back.
Yeah, how long did it take you from when you submitted to when you first got maybe a call back, or they said you got the role?
I don't think it was very long. I think it all happened within the span of a couple of weeks, between sending the audition in and getting an offer, and there was no callback. I know that does happen sometimes. They'll in this post-COVID age, it'll be like a Zoom callback, but it was straight to offer, which was nice. But it was pretty quick, maybe 2 weeks.
That's not bad. Less worrying about what went on.
Oh yeah. I mean, I try to take that that mentality of, I had a teacher when I was in theater school who was talking about letting go of auditions, and he had this ritual of, as soon as he finished the audition, you take the sides and physically throw them into the recycling or the garbage. And that was like his ritual of just letting it go, just forgetting about it, not thinking about it. So, you try to do that, but, there is always a little bit of hope that you do hear something back, and it is sometimes hard to let it go.
Evan, about letting it go, I did find in an article somewhere, and it's going to be a bit convoluted. We have hero worship because you do what we wish, to be doing ourselves. You're on screen, you get to take your craft, and we get to see it and enjoy it. You were quoted somewhere as that you no longer look at who you're working with, or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. Could you get into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean,
it was the Calgary Herald, I think, right? That was an interview you gave to the Calgary Herald, I think, Roger.
That's right.
You saw it.
Yes. That's. I mean, I try to keep up that practice, especially working on a TV show when, there's enough pressure as it is to try to do your best, and to be able to let go of any kind of preconceptions of who you're working with. I think that can only be helpful. So that's what I did with this project, and I try to carry that through with almost any other project. But I'm glad I did, because of, just the caliber of people I was working with. I didn't want that to be. I'm glad it wasn't a thing that was in my head as I was working with them. And it's nice to be able to go into work and and to meet people for who they are without having those preconceptions. I mean, I guess I could see some value in it if you're working with a specific director and you want to get to know their body of work and maybe have something to talk about or some reference points to go back to. But I think in terms of working with other actors, I mean, I'm glad I didn't look anyone up, because it probably would have gotten my head to know the kind of stuff they had done in the past.
Well, yeah, I think so almost all of your scenes are with Lily Gladstone. And of course, I know you shot this before she became a household name. Although in acting circles, you guys probably know it, I mean, she might have been a household name to other actors, I don't know, in the craft, right? But you had this, I think, in the can before Killers of the Flower Moon came out. Thank goodness, maybe, for all y'all on set, and maybe even for her, right?
That's I mean, that's a great point. I mean, the whole Killers of the Flower Moon, it hadn't been released by the time when we were shooting Under the Bridge. But it was funny because I would hear Lily talk about these stories about this film that she made in Oklahoma, and she'd tell like these little stories, and then she was like the most like the furthest thing from like a name dropping. Like, she could care less. Like, from what I could perceive, like that was not at the forefront of her mind at all. But those things, like little stories, would come up, and she'd have stories about DiCaprio and Scorsese, and what is this film that you like? But I just have to emphasize, it was with the most the greatest humility, and just but that's all to say that I'm glad I didn't know. I'm glad I didn't know about that before starting to work with her.
So in the same vein, and related to, there's a comment that we had in the someone posted a comment here asking, you're from Canada, did you know the story at all beforehand? And I, similar to not wanting to know too much about your colleagues that you're working with, did you want to know more about the true story, or did you want to just approach it from the page in the script?
I did want to know about the true story. And I, before I got the audition for this, for Under the Bridge, this was a story that I wasn't familiar with. And even having grown up and being from Canada, this was a story that I was not familiar with, which I've found in speaking with different people in Canada. There seems to be a clear divide of a generational gap. Like, people my age and younger did, like, generally from people that I speak to, do not know about the story. And then people in the generation above me, it's a story that's well remembered. So what was your question, Karen?
Well, Karen, you're
sorry. You said that you like to approach, the job without knowing too much about the right. actors you're working with. I was wondering, did you also like to approach, the true story, not knowing too much about it, but you kind of actually did want to dig into it, right?
I did, because I didn't know anything about it. That's right. So I did want to learn as much as I could. And Under the Bridge, of course, is based on the book of the same title, written by Rebecca Godfrey, who is a character in the show as well. So I wanted to learn as much about the story as possible. So I picked up the book, but I did find at a certain point that there were some discrepancies between what was on the page for the script versus what was in the book. So at a certain point, I did just focus on the details of what was in the script, just simply not in an attempt to not confuse myself and to not have to compartmentalize different details about the same story.
Oh, go ahead, Karen. Go ahead.
Well, I have like so many questions about the role that you played because you're not playing a true life character. Your character, the constable, sort of represents the entire police investigate, right? You guys, the three of you represent an amalgamation of different police officers that worked on it and the entire parts of different people, your character. And I felt like you carried the weight of I mean, so many of the comments that your character makes are like just a little bit misogynistic, just a little bit racist, just a little bit like, I felt like your character carried the weight of like he's like, there's some scenes where I'm like, that dude is a walking microaggression. And I know that the writers were trying to convey to us the ways in which a police investigation might not really be fair to younger, to understand the teenagers or understand what, it's like to be a teen girl or whatever. And I was interested in like how you approach that character who has to like say a line like, oh, he's Native American and he's whiter than I am, was a line that really stood out to me. And I wondered if you like felt that, or if you like put some thought into what it meant to be. Like as an actor, you always want to like, your character's not a bad guy, and you don't want to think of him that way. And I just wondered how you approach like a character that has to maybe carry a little bit of weight of like.
Yeah, I think that line might have been Scott's line, played by Daniel Dimer, but there were some scenes that my character was that were written for my character that had some of those like really clear misogynistic, racist tones to them. For my character, a lot of that ended up getting cut before we went to camera. But there was definitely a tone of just antagonism, and just to provide an obstacle, I think, to Lily's character. But I think ultimately what it comes down to is just being aware of what story is being told, and being aware of what my role in that story is, and trying to serve that in the best possible way. So. Yeah, and understanding whose story is this, and in a lot of cases, it was the story of Cam Bentland, played by Lily Gladstone. It was her story of kind of heading up this investigation and coming into her own as a respected police officer. So and then seeing my role and Daniel's role as obstacles to that. So I think it's and let me know if I'm answering your question, Karen, but I think it comes down to knowing what your purpose is in the script and honoring that and being aware of what the bigger story is. Does that answer your question? I've been playing what the question is as soon as I start talking.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting show because someone asked me if did you like it? And I was like, well, I don't know if this is a show that you say you like. Was it compelling? Did it say something to me? Did it mean something to me? But like, there are no heroes in this program, really, right? There's nobody who maybe, so Camden is a protagonist, but she makes mistakes also. Everybody makes mistakes. And there's no like, this is a, it was an interesting watch for me to see like each character, like who could I get behind, who could I really grab onto and be like, Rebecca is conflicted. It was interesting for me to, and so your answer is great. Like you have a, your character's not, you're not seeing him as a hero, but what's his point in the story? Like totally. You don't have to be behind everything the guy does. You understand your job on the show, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like, I think that's the fun thing about being an actor too, like getting to embody things that, would be appalling in everyday life, and getting the permission to explore that. I think that's an interesting aspect about being an actor. And interesting to explore like that side of humanity, because I think that's a part of, I think humans encompass the full spectrum, the full spectrum of feelings and thoughts and emotions and opinions, and I think it's cool to get to embody that and to voice that and and to get to play a part in that in some way.
I have to ask, Evan. Obviously, the events take place in 1997, a little bit thereafter, and technology has changed. For me, I lived through that. I saw it. Were you a bit surprised by some of the technology, especially the girls when they're playing the CDs? I mean, were you surprised that they had CDs and there were no cell phones? Did you see the big old phones they were using? We've used
Yeah.
those. Was that a surprise to you, Evan, in this project?
I mean, not for me. No, I grew up in an age of CD players and even tape cassettes, and so, and I don't know, like maybe, I guess, yeah. At the time of that the story took place, I was only 5 years old, but I think I'm just old enough that I did have, I did live through like a VCR era and CD players. And big chunky cell phone and like pre-cell phone and pre-internet. I remember when there was no internet. At least we didn't have internet. So I mean, yeah, the world has changed a lot since then. But I think I have some like distant memories of what that was like. So it wasn't too surprising.
Okay, fair enough. Because even the squad cars, I think, were age appropriate. It was interesting. So the technology, because I know there's a scene where you actually arrest. At first, I thought the character's name was Sammy. I got it wrong, but it was Dusty, I believe. You arrest her as she's walking just aimlessly. So, on a scene like that, it's a brief scene. What do? Were you literally given the keys to the car and say come up from behind or from the side? What? How did that work? Because that's already. I don't know if that's episode 7 or. Oh no, wait, that was episode 6, I think.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So, tell us on something like that. Your involvement. How quick was it? It was a night shoot. Please enlighten us. And Evan, sorry, I want to remind the audience, we have a lot of people watching on Twitter, and it's amazing to us. But we'd love to hear your comments. If you're leaving any on Twitter, we cannot read them. Head on over to, as Michael stated right here, you can head on over to YouTube. You can head on over to twitch.tv/NDB Media, Facebook NDB Media. Just come on over. We would love, there's quite a few people watching. And, for everyone else who can, let us know who you are and where you hail from. Tell us where you are in this part of the world. Sorry, Evan. Talk about that scene when you go ahead and when you. It is Dusty, right? The character that you arrest.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean that's a great example of just like, and I mean it's such like you said, such a simple scene and such a short sort of just moment. But it was quite literally, here's the keys to the car. Here's a radio, and we're gonna give you all the actions, and we're gonna be directing you from this walkie-talkie. And yeah, I mean it's I think it's just a testament to the iceberg that is making television or making movies. We see the final product, and it's just the tip of the iceberg of what goes behind it. It was stressful because there's like, I've never driven a police car before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a kind of a balancing act of coordination. It's really technical. It really comes down to just like timing and technicality. And yeah. It's amazing how something so simple it can be so challenging, and I think So I guess just imagining like something that be so challenging, it just puts things into perspective when I look at a scene that is really complex and just the amount of skill or rehearsal or time it takes to really nail something like that. Yeah.
There was another scene that you're in the front desk, I imagine the police station or the Mountie station, I'm not sure. Forgive me. But the call comes in and right away, boom, you go to the recording. That was a very important scene right there because that's where we get the story to really start to move forward in the direction that, well, we eventually see where it's going. Had you ever used a tape recorder like that before? I know. I'm stuck on the technology theme. I'm sorry, Evan.
Yeah, no,
That was old style, man.
that is old style, man. Not like that one. I'm just trying to think back to the image of what that looked like. Nothing like that, but I have used. We had a little like tape cassette recorder growing
Oh
up,
yeah, we all did.
and that was like some of the earliest times of like creativity and growing up, like recording music on that thing, making stories and recording them, and then so I've used like a much simpler, smaller, different version of that, but nothing like that thing.
Okay, fair enough. Well, do you have an iPhone or an Android or something different? A
I'm
phone.
an iPhone guy.
Okay, you have an iPhone. You have the music. What is the first song that we hear on your phone if you turn it on right now?
Wow.
He asks the
Okay,
hard
so
questions.
I have my go-tos, and
Okay.
I tend, as soon as I find an artist or a song that I like, I tend to really gravitate towards it. There's a band, an American band called the Michigan Rattlers, from Michigan, obviously, and they have a song called Heaven. It's a brand new song, and this band is like going back to, they're not bluegrass, but like going back to like talking about that kind of style of music. They definitely have some like really clear country roots, some Bruce Springsteen influences, and they're my favorite band. So I'd say Heaven by the Michigan Rattlers. That would be the first one that would pop up.
Okay, that's today's technology. Back in 1987, when you thought of the character that you're going to play, you know the scenes he's in. What is your character's music like?
Back in 1997.
Yes, your
Yeah.
character. What is your character into? And what
You know,
was the backstory that you made up for the character?
that's a great question, Roger. And I'm just pulling up Spotify right now because I love that question, because for every character, even if I'm just auditioning, I love to create a playlist.
Really?
So I'm gonna
You
pull
do?
that up. Yeah. Let me find it.
That is cool.
So I've got One Headlight by the Wallflowers in there. I've got Days of the Week by Stone Temple Pilots. I've got Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba.
Oh my goodness, I know that one. That's second on my playlist when I'm in a car, Evan.
No way.
I'm going to it right now. I'm serious, but go ahead.
Yeah.
That is interesting, man. That is cool.
So like that's a great question, because like going back to like building a character, I think music can be a really big part of that, because music is so evocative and can really change your body. What is
I'm sorry.
Roger.
I'm just a gigolo is the first
Let
one.
me make it bigger for you for a minute.
Yeah,
so
sorry. Just a gigolo and then tub thumping. There it is, right there. That's when I'm driving. That's crazy, man. I'm sorry.
That's a great driving song.
It actually is, and it's the second one to get going. Yes. I deliberately chose a different, just different types of music when I'm driving. I think that one lasts about 2 hours of playtime on that one. But it's not about me, Evan. It's about you and the creation of your character. I appreciate this. This is cool. Understanding, how you go about this. Please continue.
Yeah, I think.
Are you like listen to that playlist in your dressing room while you're waiting for your call to get into character, or you listen to it?
I would listen to it. Yeah, I would listen to it like on the way to set, like the train. I'd have it in. Yeah, I think it helps to like have an idea of what the character is, and then have music to kind of support that. Yeah, Officer Don Gardner, he was, I think it was interesting, like doing the bit of post-production for the show and doing ADR recording, like seeing some of the clips for the first time and having to do some dialogue replacement. the feedback that I was getting was that the show deals with such heavy subject matter.
Yeah.
It's a really tragic story. The feedback that I was getting was that these little moments with Officer Don Gardner are kind of like funny. Like they just provide sometimes a little bit of levity. So I think having that idea of like this character is, he's in the world, but he's like, he might be just like a little bit of like just a change of gears, a change of pace. And I think understanding that he was like he was a character that was like doing his best but a bit overwhelmed, and I think having sort of a sense of lightness reflects in the playlist as well. Like Tub Thumping, that would not be a song that you would hear like on the soundtrack of Under the Bridge, but
Right.
but it's a song that Officer Don Gardner would probably listen to and like and juxtapose like the events of the story in a way that I think is like appropriate enough for the character.
It's so
It is cool. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry, Roger. It's so important for us as like the viewers. Like I'm watching 8 hours about a show about like children committing violence against like another child, and it's pretty heavy. And like we as the viewer really need that moment of a little bit lighter moment, or seeing what Officer Gardner offers a little break from that. Maybe, as you said, it's really important for me to be able to watch the show.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, just to have that break, that kind of ear and eye break to kind of to be able to digest everything. I think it's nice to chase it with something on the lighter side.
If I may point out, we do have a question from Arc54, and it's just one of those things. After the filming was over, were you able? I should ask the question that way. Were you able to go and visit Reena's gravesite?
That's a great question. I haven't.
Okay.
That would be. I mean, I imagine the gravesite must be on Vancouver Island. We shot the show in Vancouver. I didn't spend any time on Vancouver Island, but when I do visit the island again, that'd be amazing. That'd be really surreal to go and to pay my respects. But I haven't been able to. It's a great question. Thank you for that.
No, that's cool. Appreciate it, Michael. I'm sorry, I was pointing out some other comments.
No, I was going to get to that, but we were doing all.
In addition to the little birdie comment, Arc 150. Well, this is someone else. Arc 54 says, "I know that you got your start on TV as a guest on Heartland. Would you even consider popping up in a show again? And do you remember the horses' names?"
Wow.
Cool. All right, we didn't mean to ambush you on that one, Evan.
Not at all. I mean, I would love to go back on Heartland. I was only on for one episode, but I love that character. I'm curious if there's a Heartland fan. But I was just on for one episode in season 8 and had a great time. That was my first TV gig ever, and it was a big learning experience and big responsibility as a really young actor. But I would go back, absolutely. That show it's such a wholesome show and such a great legacy show for Canada and I think for other parts of the world too. But I'd absolutely go back. And do I remember the horses' names? Not a chance. I don't remember.
That is cool. Well, I know my co-hosts do want to ask some additional questions. I've been dominating. I apologize. Going into your bio a little bit, thank you, Calgary Herald and IMDb and all the other places. You got your start, I believe, in youth theater. And if you want to talk about that real quick, my question, in addition to that, would be, obviously, you've done theater, you've done camera. Is there a first love or a regular love that you had? If you had your dithers, young man, what would it be? And then if you would maybe tease us a bit on how you got going and stuff like that.
Sure. I mean, that's such a hard question. That is like choosing your favorite child.
Yeah.
I think, in a lot of ways, like there are things. there are things I love about both, you know, and there are things that I find challenging in both. But gosh, you know, I think the ideal situation would be to have a finger in both pies, but it's hard, you know. That's an ongoing conversation with actors, especially in a town like Vancouver or Toronto. Imagine it's probably the same there in LA, where I understand there's a thriving theater community in Los Angeles as
Yes.
well. It's an ongoing conversation. And it's tricky because theater is a commitment because it's live and you have an audience. So once you're engaged with a theater contract, you're there for, you know, 2 months up to, you know, it can be up to a year or longer. And so I think it has to be, I guess for me, it has to be the right project because it is such a commitment. But there is nothing like, getting that immediate response and playing to a live audience. It is the first love. It's my first experience with acting, and
that's cool.
There's nothing like it. Yeah.
That is cool. That's fair to know.
On that tangent, you did Shakespeare in DC in the Shakespeare Theater. How did you find the whole experience? Did you get to perform on the outdoor theater, or were you just on the indoor theaters?
We were in the indoor theater at what was the name of the theater? It wasn't what was the name of the theater? It's the one right across from the Capital One Arena.
Yeah, they're both fairly near each other. I mean. Yeah,
there's the Klein
Is
Theater.
This in DC?
This is in DC, yeah. The name of the theater is escaping me.
Yeah,
we'll see if we can find it.
No, I had it up, and then it's like, because I always forget them. Because all my friends used to like to go to the outdoor one all the time. So it's like,
okay, I didn't realize that was not that one. Yeah. So we played.
Was it Klein or was it Harmon?
What was the second one that you just said?
Harmon.
That's
Harmon
it.
Hall.
Yeah, the Harmon Hall. That's
on F Street. Yeah, that would be across from. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that we played at. It was amazing. Gosh, you know, I was just corresponding with the company manager, the Shakespeare Theater Company, because I have to do, since I worked in the U.S., I have to do my taxes in the U.S. now. So it's just I was responding.
I'm laughing because I'm a tax preparer of 37 years. Sorry, Evan. Welcome to America. What do you have to do? You got to do taxes. God bless America. Sorry, Evan.
Yeah. God love America.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was just a whole new thing to figure out the W-2s and the whole thing. Yeah, IRS. It's all a whole new thing. But I had a moment when I was corresponding with the company manager, and I was just reminded of the hospitality and the warmth. It was such a great company to work for. The crew, the artistic team, the management team. It was really, really a great community. And we were there over Christmas and New Year's, so it was like a really special time to be in DC.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Did you get out at all, or were you really stuck up in the theater all the time with rehearsals and things?
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, not unlike any theater contract. We're playing 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And then Monday, you know, on your day off, you're usually catching up on other work. But I did have time to explore the city a bit and try to check out the museums as much as I could. Just try to take in the atmosphere during that time as well. I really loved the city and loved my time.
Were you staying downtown in a hotel, or did they put you out further out?
We were further out. Yeah, we were in a neighborhood called Buzzard Point. Do you know the neighborhood? It's like
you were in Virginia then, I believe.
No, it was in DC. It was really close to the ballpark.
Oh, over there. Okay. Yeah. I know where that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Near
it
the
was
waterfront
covered-
down there. Yeah.
Yes, and a lot of that development looked like it was just being redeveloped.
Totally. Yes.
Yeah.
When they built the new stadium there, they redeveloped that whole area.
Yeah. So we were down there. So it was a bit of a we had to like we walked like to the stadium subway station
Right.
and get on there or take one of the Capital the bikes system.
Oh, the bikes that they have there to rent, you mean? Oh, okay.
To get
One of those city bikes, yeah.
yeah.
You were doing
Yeah,
As You Like
yeah.
It, right? A comedy.
That's right.
So had you done
Yeah.
much Shakespeare, and had you done the comedies coming up as a young person, or was Shakespeare was it new for you, or do you totally have Shakespeare in your back pocket?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I have a special relationship with As You Like It. It's I've done 2 different Shakespeare productions before. As You Like It, or 2 different like 2 different plays of Shakespeare before. As You Like It, I've done 4 times. So
Wow.
I did it when I was still a student in theater school, and then we did it. I mean, it was the same production with the one that we did in DC, but I did that same production in Vancouver, and then we took it to DC, and then we ended the tour in Calgary. But that show I know very well now. I've done I don't know how many performances of that script. But Shakespeare is still like relatively new to me. I have a lifelong goal to play Hamlet. I love. I had an opportunity to audition for the part last year, and just fell in love with the character. And it's like it's such a an Everest, a Mount Everest of an opportunity for an actor, and I think it'd be a really great challenge. So I want to go back and do more Shakespeare, but time will tell.
You're the right age. I don't know how old you are actually, but you look like you're a good age to play Hamlet right now.
I agree, and I think I've been, and the feedback about is that I'm too young, and I think I do play a little bit young on stage still, like. But I think you're absolutely right. Like Hamlet is a graduate student. Like realistically, he'd probably be in his mid-20s, early 20s. So I think I would be the perfect age. But you see so many actors who play the role are quite a bit older. Some of the famous examples of actors who played that role, tend to be just experienced actors too. I mean, it's such a monumental role that. Yeah.
Again, I'm going to show my age here, but my favorite Hamlet is Gilligan's Island. When they do, have you seen that? When they do a musical.
I don't even think he knows what Gilligan's Island
I don't
is.
think he does.
I do know the show. I am familiar with the show.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hamlet, don't be a lamlet. Yeah, I know this.
I asked to be or not to be. Yeah.
You
gotta check it on YouTube. Like a famous producer washes up on the island, and they're put on a show to convince him to rescue them, and they do a musical Hamlet, and Gilligan plays Hamlet, and the skipper is Polonius, and it's all musical, and they make, oh my God, go right to YouTube when we're done and go watch that, and it'll be in your head for the next 5 days.
Yeah, sorry.
I have to.
Oh, by the way, of being in your head for a little bit. I think Arc 54 responded, it's Lucas and Alexander, and I believe that's the horse's names. Yeah.
Oh
have we frightened you a little bit, Evan, already with everything that we know?
No, I'm just amazed. So is Arc 54, is this another friend of the pot? Like,
yeah.
Yes, it's another individual. Yes.
Friend of the show.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. I mean, either Arc 54 is like really good at research, or a big fan of Heartland. I mean, either way, I'm impressed.
Actually, we have a rabid audience. I got to tell you, we haven't done Monday night in a while, and it's our fault. So a lot of people that are coming in are coming back on our Twitter channel, and we're telling them, Please, Twitter people, come on over to this side where you can actually comment, because we do have quite a few people watching right there, and everyone on
Not even
Twitter,
more
please,
Twitter now. I mean, it's,
or X, whatever it is. But
yeah.
no, this is one of our regulars. But to answer your question, a little bit of both.
Okay.
Evan, we're fortunate here. Our listeners, they're not our fans. They're part of our family. They realize that they can ask you questions immediately. And I'm not sure if you knew that this is the way it was going to work, Evan, but we think that this is a tiny bit of magic right here, that people from around the world can come in and comment, and you can see, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful exchange when we get these comments. And it's live, man. We can't make that up, because Elizabeth also asked, besides Indiana Jones movies, what type of movies or actors influenced you? And
Wow.
yeah, there was a famous oh my goodness, the behind the scenes, oh my goodness, the ones that do the stunts. Someone affected you, right? Got you into being in Hollywood, basically, right? It was a stunt person, was it?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, so I was trying to rack my brain, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, Evan, I know. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place.
No.
You know,
Yeah. So this is actually a really great story, in that, where I grew up was, I grew up in a rural area of Alberta, which is, it's a province in Canada. It's people think of it like the Texas of Canada, but populated. Like there's like a couple big cities in Alberta, but it's Canada. There's not as many people. So I grew up on a farm in Alberta, and when people ask me about, like, how did you even get into film and television, it's the right question, because there is no industry. Like, I grew up in a small farming community, and it's oil and agriculture. Those are the main industries where I grew up. But funny enough, grew up, our next door neighbor on the same gravel road that I grew up on, he is a stuntman in the film and television industry in Calgary. And so he's done all kinds of films, from The Revenant, to whatever's shooting in Calgary, the assassination of Jesse James, a lot of these great big feature films and television series, and so he was just one of those guys that was like just kind of an expander in my mind. Like, growing up, I didn't have any connections with the industry, but I remember when I was still in high school, I called him on the phone and just asked him about what how he got into it, what's basically just that, and he gave me his contact for his agent, and the agent that he had been working with his son, and that became my first legitimate agent in the industry. So just, I mean, I don't know what you call that, if it's providence or what, but it was just, I was lucky to have had someone, and it was, just so the possibilities of that being our next door neighbor is just astronomical. But I was lucky in that way, I think.
How big is Red Deer population wise, if you know?
Yeah, so Red Deer's the city that I was born in, and it's just, I think it's just over 100,000 people.
Oh, okay.
That's where I was born in, but I grew up outside of Red Deer. I grew up in a farming community called Keough, which is just over, the town itself is just over 1,000 people. I grew up like 20 minutes outside of that, even. So just pasture and
no kidding. But you did grow up in between two of the biggest cities in Alberta, right? That's Edmonton and what's the other one down there? Calgary, is it?
Calgary, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Was it a big flat empty plain where you were?
No, it's more, they call it like parkland. So it's we're not too far from the Rockies where we're at. So there are some rolling hills, and then it's a mix of farmland, prairie with there's still like quite a bit of wooded areas and wetlands. So it's not just like Saskatchewan, if you're familiar with that province, just flat farmland. But Alberta, especially this part of central Alberta, it's quite beautiful. It's a lot more like foothills.
Yeah.
You have a view of the Rocky Mountains, and then some farmland mixed in there. So it's kind of like, yeah, going from Rockies to that prairie land. It's a bit of a mix between the two.
Yeah, just on the imagery on Google alone, it looks absolutely gorgeous, man. I am envious. It's beautiful. I've been a suburban kid my entire life, so I can only imagine what that was like. Karen, Michael?
Yeah. Karen, do you have something? Then I have something after you.
Well, yeah, I have sort of a two-parter here, but I kind of wanted to get back to Elizabeth's question about. So apparently, Indiana Jones was a big influence on you, and she's interested in what other types of movies or actors have influenced you in your career.
Yeah, I mean, I got to talk about Indiana Jones. That's like, even I think it was just yesterday, the day before, I was flipping on Disney Plus, Netflix, trying to find something to watch, and of course on Disney Plus, I don't know if it's the same in the US. Here in Canada, they have all of the Indiana Jones movies and content, and I ended up just spending an hour just watching this documentary on the origin of Indiana Jones and that character, and it's always it's such an like, I don't know what it is about that character. I think it does have something to do with growing up watching that. That was a big movie when I was a kid. And just so cool. Like everything about that character was just exactly what I wanted to do, and just sparked my imagination so much. But other types of movies or actors. I mean, I love comedy. Some names that come in my head: Steve Carell, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams. Those are some of my biggest influences for sure. I love what they do, and I love those I love those guys specifically because they can do it all. Of course, they're known for their comedy chops, but I mean, Robin Williams, Good Will Hunting is one of my favorite movies, and his turn in that movie.
Wow. Yes.
And Dead Poet Society. I would say Robin Williams is just one of those guys that like constantly look up to and aspire to, and hope that I can even just touch, what kind of work he did.
Wow.
Do you have a follow-up, Karen? Or
well, actually, I'm going to ask a different follow-up. So then, would you like to get into comedy? So you're coming out of a crime drama, some Shakespeare. Heartland was you did one episode, but you're not known yet as a comedy guy. Is that an itch you're hoping to scratch?
Absolutely, yeah. I'd love to. I mean, I when I have the time, I sometimes will do improv. There's a great improv theater here in Vancouver called Tightrope Improv. And I love it. It's I think going back to that theater thing too, just having that immediate response and the improv aspect of just creating something, just the pure raw creativity of creating something in the moment and having an immediate response, and it's so satisfying and so gratifying. So I'd love to be on a set that has that same energy and to be able to create characters and to be able to improvise. That's one nice thing about Under the Bridge. I did get to improvise quite a bit. I would say maybe 50% of my dialogue was not scripted.
Wow. So, of all the actors I've talked to, like almost nobody ever says that. Mostly actors say, the page was written the way it was written, and that's how we do it. Tell us more about that. That's amazing.
I didn't deviate from what was on the page. I honored everything that was that the writers had given me, but there were just so many moments with this character that, I mean, a lot of my scenes were just that. They were moments. So finding ways to fill those moments and bring some creative ideas. There's one part in episode 2. The scene didn't make the final cut of the show, unfortunately, but there was a moment, a scene where I think maybe I had one line, but I ended up coming in with just an offer, just seeing how how the actors would respond, and then what the director how they would respond too. And so I think it was just that, just like wherever there was an opportunity to not to like pull focus, but to just to support what was happening, and to maybe bring a little levity, or just to follow that spirit of fun, and follow the creative spirit as much as possible. And so it ended up looking like just ad-libbing little bits here and there, and because Officer Don Gardner was a smaller role, it ended up being like probably 50% of what ended up making the final cut.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I was going to ask, when I got your bio and stuff before you came on the show, I looked at your picture and I go, why do I recognize him? Why do I recognize him?
Yeah.
And I went over your IMDb listing and I went, oh, he was in Upload. And then the character name, it didn't mean anything to me. And then I went back and looked at the episode, The Gray Market, from the first season, and I went, he's playing Dylan's younger brother. And we've had Dylan on our show before. And so it was like, wow, that was so cool. And you did a great job. I just want to say, I'm sure you didn't even play against him because you were on a screen. So I'm sure you weren't even in the same room when you did the scene. So
never even got to meet the guy. Which is
that's what I figured. Yeah.
But what going back to just like the tip of the iceberg, I mean, that was such a fun, like, just little part. And I mean, it would have been great to be able to play with all the actors present, but that's just part of, like,
because you basically only played with one, and that was it.
But so fun, such a fun show. Yeah. I know. I was hoping to get back on the show. I know Deb Podowski, who plays the mom in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of my acting teachers here in Vancouver.
Oh, really?
So
that's cool.
I'd met her on that show, but I ended up. She told me after we finished shooting, she's like, "Yeah, I run an acting studio," and I was like, "Oh, you do?" And so I ended up studying with her, and so. And then I saw her. She was helping me with an audition, and she was like, "So it looks like we're coming back." And I was like, "What?" And so I think her character was written back in, but unfortunately Bryce.
But yours was not. Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't get to play again together, but it was a great opportunity to meet a great mentor, teacher, and, great actor. Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool. We're coming up to the hour right now, and I'm not sure how much time Evan has, but we usually like to cut it off in an hour unless we have a lot of questions in the chat room, and we really do not. So if you have any final questions for the next 5 minutes, please put them in the chat room and Evan will answer them. But
I have a question.
Okay, go right ahead, Karen.
As a matter of fact, Karen, if I may, look, we're getting likes from Randy Landers, Sonia Robles. Guys, we thank you. We just got the likes right now. Please drop a question in right now in the time that we have left. And I still say the significant number of people are on Twitter. Come on over to the other sides and drop off some comments, please. We're thrilled that you're watching, but we love the comments. Come on, Sonia. Come on, Randy. Ask some questions. Sorry, Karen.
That's okay. I was going to ask before we go. So the show we're on right now, Evan, is one of, between us here, we have a couple different shows, a couple different live streams we do in our little Rogers Media empire they're all really about TV, different TV shows that we're watching, things going on in the business. And I wanted to ask you, like, when you have downtime, what are you watching right now? What do you recommend that we should watch?
Okay.
Yeah, well, this may come as a surprise, but I am... I'm really not a TV connoisseur. I don't watch a lot of TV. I did, however, after after I finished watching my Indiana Jones documentary, I did turn on Baby Reindeer on Netflix. Have you guys seen Baby Reindeer?
I have not. I haven't
No,
gotten
I
to
have
it.
not either.
No.
I had to watch Under the Bridge in
I
its
mean, I
entirety
just
at the time.
okay, well, that's a good answer. But I watched the first episode of Baby Reindeer, and it was quite quite compelling. A story about a stalker, and just interesting characters, good writing. I haven't continued watching it, but I imagine I'll probably continue watching that one. I do love movies. What I do is I tend to fixate on either a specific director or a specific actor, and then just go through their filmography and try to watch whatever titles kind of pop out at me. I recently, my most recent one was Vince Vaughn. There's some Vince Vaughn movies that, of course, he's famous for, Wedding Crashers and those mid 2000s, early 2000 comedies. But I watched a video about how he got started, and it was on a feature film called Swingers. And
I'm very old, so that was really the first. That was the first one of his films I ever saw. It's amazing.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I wanted to watch it because this was one of his big first films. And I believe it was written and directed by Jon Favreau. And I'm just inspired by those stories about actors who just take their business, take their careers into their own hands and just create something. Part of the reason why I love Good Will Hunting, same thing with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. So I really wanted to get a sense of that. So I watched Swingers. I rewatched Wedding Crashers. Old School. I hadn't seen Old School before. I watched Old School. So that's what I'll tend to do. I'll find an actor that I'm interested in and just see what they've done, and maybe try to find something that's maybe a little less well known, but that seems interesting.
Oh, that's cool. That's great. I'm gonna have to maybe revisit Swingers. I haven't seen it. It's been probably 20 years since I watched that movie. I'll have to put that on the list.
Yeah. What about you guys? What should I watch? I mean, I know I'm not. I haven't been watching a lot, but
you don't sound like a sci-fi guy, but if
most of us are sci-fi fans.
So there's this show on Paramount called Star Trek Discovery that just ran its final season, and the creators have talked about how this final season was completely inspired by Indiana Jones.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you might
I'm going to write down the name of the show.
You could probably jump in without. I mean, it's a Star Trek. Like if you haven't seen the first 4 seasons, it's probably fine. But this last season 5. If you check out any of the interviews that the creators have done, it's a total homage to Indiana Jones. It's a real adventure across the galaxy.
Wow, cool. And so what's the name of the show?
Star Trek Discovery.
Star Trek series.
Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
Discovery. Discovery. Sonequa Martin Green is the star, so you get a nice little, class there watching her. She's so fabulous. It's the final season, and it just ran on Paramount, so you should find it pretty easily. But it's really, it's sort of like a treasure hunt across the universe this last season.
Wow, cool. Okay.
As a matter of fact, Arc 54 suggests the movie Sight, which has one of your peers that was in Under the Bridge. He plays, oh my goodness, I forget his name right now. Michael, do you know the actor's name? He plays the prosecutor in episodes 7 and 8 and Under the Bridge. I'm going to look it up right now. But he's in the movie Sight. It has to do with, it's a not unlike Under the Bridge, based on real events. And it's in the theaters right now in the United States. It's only running about...
Terry is in it, right?
Yeah, I think you had his name right now. Yes. What was it?
Terry,
yes. Terry. And his last name, is it Chen?
Yeah. Terry Chen.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's in the movie Sight. Humbly, young man, I think everyone here would recommend that movie to you.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if it's playing in Canada right now. Probably is. It opened nationwide here about 2 weeks ago. I've seen it,
Yeah.
and we're fortunate. I don't mean to give play for something else, but we're gonna have a guest from that movie in I think about a week and a half. So it's kind of cool. We're looking forward to it. So we watched the movie as well. We try to watch whatever our guests are on. We do our best.
That's amazing that that you've seen. I haven't seen all of Under the Bridge yet. I mean, it's just nice to feel that that bit of support. That's really.
Both Karen and Michael were a bit surprised. Well, I guess they'll tell you. I was impressed. The story was taut. It was good. I really wasn't confused because there is a lot of time jumping in it for not being science fiction, I guess. It was kind of interesting. But Under the Bridge, I humbly recommend everyone watch it because it is well written, it is well performed or well acted, and it's not necessarily a feel-good movie. It's based on real events, and I think it was done very well. It's good stuff. I enjoyed it, and I would not have seen it had you not been on our program. And I consider myself fortunate, but it's not about me. Sorry.
But Evan, we would greatly like to thank you for joining us. From Karen, Roger, and myself, thank you for coming. If you'd ever like to come back again and talk about new projects or just talk about Indiana Jones,
we could do that too.
Do the Indiana Jones episode. That'd be awesome.
I mean, honestly, we had another guest that's into old movies, and we said, "Hey, come on," and he's coming on in a couple of months. He's busy right now. He's a musician, but we're serious. I mean, if you'd like to join us and talk about an Indiana Jones movie or two, we're up for it.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask, of the 5 movies, do you have a favorite of the 5 movies? And you don't have to answer it right now because we were privileged. We had Glover. I forget his first name, but he played Donovan in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He was on with the bad guy.
He was on the show?
We interviewed him. A bit. We've been on for 16 years. Just a little bit of time. We interviewed him. Actually, it was on Veterans Day here in the United States. I don't know if it was 2009 or 2010.
Wow.
He contacted us.
Oh, no
and
way.
said he wanted to be on our program, and we're like, oh! So remember early on when I was talking about the hero worship stuff?
Yeah, that's it, man.
Wow. Yeah, we've been blown away, and he was absolutely awesome. One of the things that will stick in my mind, and I didn't get a chance to ask you because I don't know how much you've traveled, but I asked him, sir, you've traveled all over the place. If you had your dithers, I know that's the word of the day, where would you spend it? And he mentioned Mexico because he loved the food. If he had the ability to film, work, and live, it would be in Mexico because of the vibe. And in the places you've been to, you mentioned Vancouver, Toronto, of course, the city you're from. You've been all over Canada. Do you have a favorite place right now? Oh, and Washington, D.C. Duh. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
I know I'm dragging this out, Evan. Sorry.
No. I mean, it's amazing that you mentioned Mexico because that's that Mexico holds a special place in my heart. I was just last fall. I have a friend in I've been learning. So one of my COVID activities when the lockdowns, and so I met someone who lives in Mexico on this website for language learning called Conversation Exchange, and we're like pen pals. We've been corresponding for the last 3 or 4 years. And so I finally went to Mexico and met her and her fiance and got to spend a week with them in Querétaro, which is just north of Mexico City. So that would, I mean, Mexico holds that. it's a very special place for me. And I'd love to go back and work. I don't know, work there, sure, but just to go back and the food, yes, absolutely. The language, I love Mexican Spanish, the language, the culture. Man, yeah, that is one place, and that's cool to hear that. Donovan from The Last Crusade loves it too.
Yeah, who's also in Game of Thrones. So check that out. Next time you watch Indiana Jones, if there's a local cuisine that has Latin food, there you go. Go for the triangle.
You know,
Yeah,
hey, Evan,
yeah.
have you watched the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles?
Oh, good
No,
question.
I haven't, and I've had a resistance to it because I don't know. I love River Phoenix as Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade.
Yeah.
And I just don't know enough about it. I'm sure if I watched it, I'm sure I'd like it, but I haven't given it a chance.
Sean Patrick Flannery is in it.
Okay.
When
Why is that name familiar?
Boondock Saints. He's from the Boondock Saints. Is probably
Okay.
what you might know him from.
Oh, okay.
When you watch that show, come back. We'll talk about it. It ran 2 seasons in the early 90s.
Okay. It was good. You liked it?
I liked it too. I saw it too.
I liked it, and you got to try to remember it's from the 90s. TV has changed a lot in 30 years, right? But if you can, you just did a show that was set in the 90s, so you should be good.
Okay.
This was right after the third movie, and very quickly it was Indiana Jones younger, and it was in 2 different time frames. So
That's
it was
right. There were 2 actors.
it was before the River Phoenix character
Mhm.
in The Last Crusade, which was interesting. And it ran, yeah, you're right, it ran about 2 years.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a shame. Jag from Texas comments, joining late from what I watch, great program. So that is cool. So I know he's talking about Under the Bridge. Well, I know. I'm sorry, Evan. I kept you longer, I'm sure, and I apologize.
No, not at all. Not at all. No rush. No rush. Yeah. It's great conversation. Yeah, you guys were exactly right. This was it's a great conversation. I really appreciated the style and just how cool and easygoing and and just curious you guys are. It's really awesome. You guys really appreciate this time.
We enjoyed it too. Sometimes, some actors are great on screen, but they are not so easy to talk to. And this has been a great conversation.
You were very easy to talk to, so that we appreciate that greatly.
Or when we're doing the interview, we're being told what to do.
Oh, that's happened.
We had that happen once, just once. We won't name names.
No,
It was funny.
names, no.
It was funny. A big name actor too. He was he gave us 40 minutes, no complaint. But it's just kind of odd.
In the middle of the interview too, or
during the interview, yes,
wow.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this. Wow. It was really funny. No, hey, Evan. I mean, look, man, you're in Vancouver. It's Monday night. You're a young man. What the hell are you doing at home, buddy? You're spending it with a bunch of fans. First of all, thank you.
This is my life, man.
You're way too humble. I doubt that, but I'm not calling you a liar, young man. It's funny, but
no, dude, absolutely, man, absolutely, and this is. I mean, it is true though. I mean, I don't. As a younger person, there's a lot of things I could be doing, but I do spend a lot of my nights doing stuff, not podcasts, but I do have I guess it's like a focus on what I'm trying to achieve. And that ends up being a lot of late nights, a lot of reading and preparing auditions and. But this is like the best way to spend it though.
That is cool. I'm glad because look, you're committed to your craft, and I don't mean this insultingly, but your pedigree, your history, you're already an IMDb. It's impressive, young man. And when it comes down to it, we're fans, Evan, and you're so kind to spend time with us. We can't wait to see, and we will be watching where you take us. Where your career goes. We're fans. We're eternally grateful. We'd love to have another conversation, but we are going to be watching out for what you're going to be doing. No pressure. None.
I feel nothing but love and support, you guys, and likewise. I'm fans of this, you guys in the show and your hospitality and great kindness. And, looking forward to the next time.
Right,
Yeah, I sent you an Instagram message from my Talented Universe page, so then you'll know who it is. But everyone, Karen, do you want last thing? Go ahead.
Oh, also, whenever he wants to talk about anything that he has a project on,
Oh no, that's what I wrote.
more than happy. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wrote that with it.
Hey, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Nope.
Go ahead, Karen.
I was just gonna say thanks for being with us, and I'm getting ready to go watch a couple hours of TV to prep for tomorrow's show. So.
Oh, that's right. They have a program, Fandom Access. Oh no, it's no longer Fandom Access, right?
Well, yeah, it is.
It is.
Oh,
Sci-Fi Vision presents Phantom Access.
Ah, okay. I should know this.
Know it. I'll see a lot of you guys there. We have a lot of the same listeners. So
all right,
we do.
It's been great. And I also have no air conditioning, so I have to go take a shower now. So.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you're in Baltimore. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 89 degrees and the AC broke today. You know how it goes.
Oh boy.
Well, it's what's supposed to do, Karen.
Yeah.
You know.
Evan, what's the weather for you? I'm sitting right now at 70 degrees. Oh, and look, and same thing from Jag. He says, "Nice meeting you, Evan. Looking forward to your future projects." Thanks, Jag. He's in Texas. I have 70 degrees today. What were you at today in beautiful Vancouver?
You know, I have to do a quick conversion because we're all.
Oh, you don't have to. We'll do.
You're right, brother. Don't worry about it. I mean, Evan. Sorry.
But it's
crossed that line.
It's been pretty mild here. You know.
It's good. Mild is good.
Probably, if I had to take a guess, probably 65 Fahrenheit.
Oh, that's nice.
So about 18, 19.
Okay, not that warm. Maybe 55.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Oh, well, that's right, Vancouver. That is mild.
Yeah.
It's been, we've had pretty like typical Vancouver Pacific Northwest start of the season. A lot.
So more like 14, 15 then?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so that'd be 55. Yeah.
Jag's begging for the weather. Send it down.
Yeah. I think he's close to 100 right now. He's
really.
Yeah. So it's like 35, 37, something like that.
Texas is Texas.
It's bad. Yeah. It's bad. But anyway, we probably need to let him go. But Evan, seriously, thank you very much for coming. We do hope you can come back again. And everyone in the chat room, sorry those people on X don't want to come over, but hey, you missed out on asking Evan questions. But maybe next time you'll come over to the other streams, and that'd be great. But if you don't, that's okay. Everyone, if you're watching this later, afterwards, because we have a lot of viewers that do watch it later, thank you for coming, and hopefully next time you can join us live. So
yeah.
From NDB Media and Talented Universe, see you next time, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.